The art of entertaining. A belief in the distortion of confusion over clear messages. The vulnerability of sincerity. The personality is a good weapon, a tool for manipulation. I feel the pressure of everyone to be someone else, better, but I can't, I won't, I don't subscribe. I'm painting the ugliest portrait of me by demonstrating what's expected of me. I'm spitting out the ball gag of a convenient social register regardless of consequences. Attempt to muzzle me and I will maul you. You will end up a handless freak. Peaceful people are just better at war with their most violent impulses. 2. A prerequisite to friendship. The secret of submission to the machismo of having your shit together. Adult friendship is now the context of thrashing yourself for the perversity of watching 1,000 followers on Twitter hype the filthy show of living suicide cases. I will transgress the boundaries of your tailor-made pain in hard-earned trash. People practicing the act by saving face of. It's trendy to be this jaded. It's trendy to be heartless. Closet A-types who would never let their guard down, but whose favorite game is the race to see who can be king of the hill of erasure of self and other. Sad porn. She worships self-destruction by compliance to the unspoken values of bourgeois artists in a contest to see who's the most down and out, addicted to internet fame. Toys for yuppies who can't do more than right. An emaciated love. Starving in what's trending. Starve it in what's trending. Starve it out. It's all trending. I'll be stupid over jaded any day. JadedAboutSuccess.com. Hyenas laughing. The weakness of every moralist is when the fight breaks out. Spineless in his self-assurance, secular humanist to the point of religious evangelical atheist. 2. Subscription to heavy-handed morality as a means of repressing the evil of those subscribing. 3. Adorn yourself in a choke chain and be free of blame as a cherub-faced glutton, gluttonous in their victimization, as a cherub-faced victim, as a masochist who can't help but be turned on by the sound of his own begging. Social exile. Social exile, either imposed by moralists and ex-friends. A new lesson in self-respect. Your choice of making them ex. Or ex-girlfriends who can't deal. Or other artists you couldn't get along with. Or couldn't get along with you, maybe. Your social scene and milieu turned away and in on you. Or even social exile self-imposed, makes for worse people and more porn. You're left with more porn. Watching porn and thinking about trust. I think people go to porn to feel close to people. Would I be following 2 insta-famous porn stars if I had meaningful relationships? Would I be following accounts for fitness models? Shedding tears. Wet eyes. Sorry for wet-nosed attempts to reach out and touch. You want to know me is exactly how I feel. My arrogance, so stupidly matter-of-fact, without compromise, it may just be misunderstood confidence. I hesitate to belong to a woman whose face doesn't reveal she's wrecked. That's the face I trust. Who walked talking to the earth dead and buried in it underneath each step. A woman whose being inspites jealousy by being. Untitled 0007. Smoke her out of her self-righteous cowardice. Untitled 0008. They taught me wrong, so I started speaking louder and carrying an even bigger stick. Untitled 0009. The alternative bores me. Exclusivity invites the most common. The hypocrisy of a pop artist using dominant culture for new blasphemy. Make friends who buy agitative propaganda or, worse, believe in nothing at all. Still vocalizing personal opinions as if it were a politic. Watering down the individual, ignoring their class. Practicing silence when speaking is urgent. Weakness and illness are idolized. Strength is torn apart. Conflict is secretly celebrated. They're looking for a reason to count you out. Untitled 0010. This light isn't sad, but it looks sad because it's hitting you on the saddest part of the day. I thought of her when this Play-Doh of anger and sadness was smudged in my left bottom jaw. At the club, you remember her suddenly. For Bad Liz. With the syrupy thick whiskey, you can hear her syrupy thick voice, indicating the size and nurturance of her body. Similarly thick mascara matches of blue lighting. Moved by everything. Not a beauty I miss. Untitled 0011. Selfishly male and already thinking about what he needs to be careful about. Untitled 0012. The perversity of innocence, the tyranny of utopia. When I was a kid, I used to eat with the dogs. People choose subscription to heavy-handed morality as a personal tool for repression of their own unassessed evil. A witch burning is a projection. A moralist makes more of it than makes sense. Politics are like pornography, base, easy for people to attach to understand, to feel understood by. I hate principles. They can be so easily abused. Base intent, degrees of sincerity. What's right today feels wrong tomorrow. What's right today might be wrong tomorrow. A self-portrait for sometimes, pathetic to watch, defends ego at all costs. Just because someone's wrong doesn't make them wrong. My vulnerability doesn't look like vulnerability. My intent different than my mood, different than its spirit. Get off on being called out as much as you get off on holding all my evil against me. I can't win this argument logically or morally, so it's on intuition I reject your bullshit theory. Barbarian in my truth. I come on strong, true to myself. If you can understand someone, why wouldn't you? If you can fix what's broken. Google me too. Hope when I'm considered a good enough pop artist for my Wikipedia page that people still call me out like a real fucking person. I look forward to being protective. I will miss being this open. Maybe I feel differently about privacy because I spent 2 weeks living at my high school stalker's apartment. She was the only one there to help me. She admitted to hacking my Facebook. I don't give a fuck. I transmute all of the mistakes I've enacted, every transgression, into forgiveness for those who trespass against me. As if transgression was consciously against anything. Shit talk works against you no matter what. Stole that line from a rapper. Relieve yourself by allowing whatever it is to hurt enough to cry about it, maybe. Pressure valves include screaming and screaming. A cheap sterility and modernity where anger must be looked down on, patronizingly as filth. A symptom, unnatural, separate, like violence. Dichotomous thinking is weak. I would have been a hypocrite if I hadn't gotten angry, but that doesn't mean I'm dumb enough to hold resentment. Can it make you feel sad to be forgiven? Yes, absolutely. I hate giving someone that power. You're drawing this line in the sand. It's a chalk circle on pavement. It's a word you blow spit bubbles in, head tilted up. You can't shame the shameless. It's the innocent. Have a certain walk. You can try to shame us. Oh, we love where we come from. This one's for Indie Lit. New York 3. I went to Coney Island alone. With money I didn't have, and I cried in public waiting in line for the next carousel ride. I cried in public on a soft wooden bench outside of Brooklyn Naturals, the organic grocery store, with an egg cheese bagel witch falling out of my hands and my mouth. Because I think differently than most people about friendship and what's appropriate. I hate what's appropriate. To say and text and why and how often and where. I'm confused that I'd be lonely, but not surprised. Mowgli 2. Feral songs for torture victims recorded and played in sequence at a recital. Millions of muscles flexed, and reposed, in a flowery bow. The sweat of a billion ballerinas wrung out in a hoisted rag. The smell of a good fuck, overlooking a 7th floor. Lucky to be blazing the trail, only to find itself mopping up blood from an accidentally slit wrist at his tacky day job. Who left him to his own devices for so long he could only write, and fuck, and cry? To be left to your intelligences, what device should I draw you with? Breathe in the saran-wrapped walls, beating like the wings of a moth. That's safety. And when wrath appears in scuffed nail polish, if I was an elite prostitute, I would line my belly with pizza from a boutique pizzeria, and I would imagine every Jane or John to be as fine as you. For Bunny Rogers. 2 cougars, one from Brazil, both with extensive plastic surgery. I am faced with my own fetish for the basic, and I am excited I can't fight it. Whose eyes I caught hanging on each other's tangling legs, or stretching out to display themselves privately in public, taking selfies, making a perfectly rich gutter littered with Mercedes into a DIY catwalk. It was too much for this cub to walk away without asking blushingly where they were from, and now I have to own up to my timidity crashing and burning. To compensate, I can see you at this table of a boutique pizzeria. You're at a boutique pizzeria. Your whore. Buying a large artichoke chicken pizza for $20. Because I think if she has an internet presence, she must have hands. Because I think this is the shit I think about. This is the shit I think about you knowing you're a coast away. I'll be your dog if you make me your man. A poem about Christine Toupeau. I want to watch you grow into the woman I always knew you were without me. With or without me. I want you to tie me down, but never forget to treat me with the love that you give your gods and dogs sometimes too. Do you ever get the impression that we should be talking more and fighting less? Do you think love has a winner and a loser? Because if you do, there is, and it's hurting me, because you might be winning. Alone at a counter, alone at a bar, alone in the street. After the fight, we're enemies. You will be heated and hate to see me, but I refuse. I will look over my shoulder like you are my most hated, face windows to assure my safety, to always be the first to see. But secretly under a tightening and tough exterior, I will walk around half crying, hoping I can see you again. When I'm alone at the gym, in the weight room, I imagine the self-imposed burden as a testament to our love. It is my worthiness, a chance to love you again. Every heated street I look for you in, every tearing lift, like, I know jocks and artists are exactly the same. Lonely for no fucking reason. Lonely out of practice. With every tearing lift, I rip myself apart with another thought of you, freckled and blushing, useless to count like stars. A contrast to you, my pale skin, untattooed inversion. The weights click, muscle-like scar repairs. I put myself together again, feeling wrongfully unworthy. You were that convincing in your self-righteousness that my body would be worthy of a woman, unworthy through her manipulations. Your strength is an illusion, flashpan argument, left with the hatred I refuse to believe in. With every ounce I gain, I learned from you, beautiful enemy. Untitled. What's to this sinner where the labels come and stay piercing branded into us? Staple the peaks of mountains back together like they were a bad gash, because we'll have no separation. Stale charm where I grew up blind to my manipulations, and how not everybody wins. How chameleon I could be, was expected to be in my beauty, led me straight, insane. People treat me oxidized now, keep washing me out. Untitled. People's separation from animals, a comfortable place to couch your wars. Untitled. Sit in your body like a house, sturdy and confident. Sit in your body like a house painter. Untitled. Keep a place out for me, an eye out like neighborhood watch, where nosy women become noisy with the excitement and laughter, gauging the loss of another. Test us for everything, God, so we can wind up dirt proudly. 2. Let them make names for themselves, God said, and then began aligning themselves in rows, eating millet and sacrificing the same blood of different animals, eating the same burgers and raping the same earth. Jess Doney. She was drinking something mixed, and after I opened my mouth, she shattered the glass it was in on the pavement in front of me, then crossing the street, screaming at the top of her lungs all the way to her apartment. A poem for Bunny. I know I was the one who fucked up, but I'll love you forever. Like everybody else, but like nobody else. Like nobody else ever. Home for Raffi. Do you still wear that dusty powder blue distressed corduroy jacket? The one with the holes in the shoulder? The one I've seen you in, crouching over your box of paints? You are evidence that the idle rich have the time for the most passionate love. Imagine if I had written you off. Imagine if you had written me off. I would be a different person, one I liked a lot less, one who had lived once without you. Poem for Jamelin Metz. I was there to kiss and compliment the 4 galloping stallion embroidered in ink on the inner thigh of her arm. Untitled. My arrogance is inviting, my power divulges while yours dilutes. I am a one-man mob, triple dog dare me. I care like I care 'cause I care. Poem for Jacob. A sad lot on a night walk, roses poking up from a crushed and twisted fence. Like me, still hopes. Untitled. It's hard for you to hide it. All your fucked up thoughts show up. It's in the lines in your face. Untitled. Do I have to be intelligent? Do I have to say it right for you? I don't have a poem for you because I don't have a poem for it yet. Problems 1. There's no point in that. The fuck do you mean it's all so important? Even if it's handled wrong, we should get to the bottom of it together. We're all certain. Release is the reason we're not leaving. Secretly wishing I'd run into you again. Even if you mug me, I will smile a sincere smile. Sorry about all the shit talk. Maybe you're sorry for blowing the whole thing up to the point of criminality. Pieces of us on screen all the time, flashing like a camera, crashing like a wave, rolling towards an end, crack against the softest. You're overkill by default. The way I remember you is softer than the mud that's left when tide's low, than the pier you dreamt yourself diving off of. When tides wash away, where people sit to remember, I tend to try to forget. You have a power you misplaced, that you misused. I was expendable. Everyone needs a rebound, and I was there, and I was alone too. Having just left my love, or rather, she'd left me leaving her. Though my infidelity was passionless, an apple falling from the poison hand. Problems 2. My emotions unrestrained have a habit of wrecking whoever's on the other end of them. Opening up feels like an act of self-mutilation now. Mutuality of assured destruction, keeping love-torn peoples love-torn. I try my hardest to forgive and forget. We all want safety in our companions, a safe haven for loss of self and sense of whole. It's sad when something that's your favorite isn't their favorite. And it's the saddest feeling that stings your heart apart because everything made so much more sense 5 minutes ago. I'm an exhibitionist looking for relief, not entertainment. It's all I'm longing for, a mask to cry in front of. I want to cry in front of you naked, a human altar. There's a perversity to every intimacy. I can't tell if I'm close enough to myself to even answer that question right now. Feels like years I haven't seen you this month. It feels like years I haven't seen you since I haven't seen you in years. Don't bring it up or I'll cry in front of you. Small body shaking in small black skirt and split with a crop top. A lily-like color of your belly shows up when you move the right way. That's how thoughts happen. That's why I mention notice it. I told you at the peak of my immersive psychosis that I had feelings for you. I'm presented with an opportunity to talk, but I offer more than is right to offer and offend. Have you ever found yourself teary-eyed in front of someone suddenly, finally processing those thoughts you can't share with another as long as you live out loud as speech, words? And there's someone on the other end who can't help but feel the importance of those words. You don't deserve it, they don't deserve it either, but because they are unworthy of it, I share it with the wrong person at the wrong time and bankrupt the moment, leaking blood all over the mood. She would politicize emotions or unravel at intimacy. She's bad at it, but still showed it to me. Failed to blossom whole and to be naked with vulnerability. She purposely dates men who choose reliable opinions and propriety, who dissect men into nothing, who would never overcomplicate. Poem for Christine 3. Probably a righteous person. She wears a lot of chokers, not someone I can be around. People like the idea better than the person, and all conflict is based on this. The reality is that your reality soils your man's aesthetic, and soiling his aesthetic would soil yours. You wouldn't have that, not over your dead and unloved virgin body. I can't say I'm being used any more than you can. If you want someone to be around all the time, why do you call me second? I want to be with you. I hate you. I hate you, don't call me. Don't bring it up to me. That everything with C is completely my own fault. That I took it too seriously. That I heard it was... You're an unloving woman because to love openly is terrifying to you. But your body reserved in it all of the expression of your love. It was the only place it happened. Cold woman's warmth showed its face in a soft place. It's easier to hide in the body, to keep it away from plain view, to keep it away from prying eyes, to compartmentalize. Poem for Christine 4. Loneliness is just another form of self-pity. You pit yourself against an onslaught of projections, one's desire, one's self, or against misunderstandings. She is honestly convinced that her judgment is justified. You are left justifying yourself. This is a losing game always. The more a person is revealed, the more pathetic and vulnerable. The more you rationalize, the more you will be asked to rationalize. And it's an easy cycle. The fight's all over and I guess you've won, by the groundwork I laid. And the adult fit you through. You can be certain the verdict by no journey is that I am a villain. You are right by asking me to justify myself. You get to make a man a child again. It's easier than admitting to yourself the part of you that would admit to us that you're as wrong as you are right. That if you forfeit blame, vulnerability would bleed you. That sad conversation where you let it go. And instead of boiling it down or summing it up, you let it grow into a mutual understanding. You rip me apart like a bull in the ring. You want to see blood. I want to drain the blood from between your temples. Unconditional love scars eventually, wearing the mark of its battles. No sentimentality, no purpose for tattoos. You must have loved me, I loved you too, freckled, thick, and tattooed. Your body to me speaks to me nourishment and warmth of life. 6. Every argument we could make could be right, and we would be meaningless regardless. Do you want the conflict and all the righteousness that comes with blame? Responsibility is never all on one side, one man, one woman. You say, I think I have feelings for you, while I kiss your sun-kissed arm from pit to fingers. I tell you very seriously, I think it's a bad idea. Later I will be kissing your arm from pit to finger, gently, and I'll say very seriously, I think I have feelings for you, and very seriously you tell me, I think it's a bad idea.